Hey guys, Zach here, coming at you with another video. Today we are going to be talking about the Doctor Who games that are supposed to be announced / revealed this weekend. I am super excited for those just because of the fact that we don't have any Doctor Who media on the Switch yet, and we're going to be getting it, and I'm super excited about the possibilities. And yeah, we're going to dive into that today, but before we get started, make sure to check out the Charity Mansion video I uploaded this past weekend, because the event is just a few days away, and I am super excited to get into that, and there's so many different people streaming. We got Battle for Bikini Bottom speedrunners, I playing Luigi's Mansion 3, there's so much going on. It's going to be a blast, so please make sure to check out that video. I really want this event to be big, and I want to raise a lot of money for Center for Suicide Awareness. So without any further ado, guys, let's get right into the video. So yes, obviously this weekend the new Doctor Who games are going to be formally shown off. I think there are 3 in total that are going to be shown off, and I don't really know the exact specifics of every single Doctor Who game that's going to be revealed. I do kind of have an idea, but we're going to jump into it today. The first one I quickly want to go over is the mobile game. There's going to be some sort of Doctor Who experience with the mobile game. And I don't really have much to say about it, just because I'm not a mobile gamer. I don't care about mobile games, even if it is Doctor Who. I seriously do not care about mobile games. When I use my phone, I use it to record videos or to Snapchat people, not to play games, in my own personal experience. So yeah, I don't really care much about that one, so they're probably going to show that off, but I really don't have that much interest in it. But yeah, so that's that. So next up, I'm pretty certain The Edge of Time is going to get a more wide release, as opposed to just PlayStation VR. It's going to come out on the Switch, it's going to come out on the PlayStation, Xbox, all that kind of stuff. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get to experience The Edge of Time. Hopefully, I'm presuming that's the case. I don't think they officially announced it's going to be The Edge of Time. I don't think they've literally stated it's The Edge of Time. If I'm wrong, then I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But they actually do have artwork from The Edge of Time in their tweet that talks about their announcement this weekend, so I'm pretty certain The Edge of Time is going to be one of those games that comes to the Switch. I feel like it's going to be kind of like FNAF VR, where it's going to be just kind of ported, and it's going to have implemented controller controls, if you get what I mean, and I think it would be pretty cool. I'm kind of interested in it. I'm mostly apprehensive because of the fact it's the 13th Doctor, which, for those of you who know me and know how I feel about Doctor Who, the 13th Doctor hasn't impressed me much too far. Season 12 was decent, but it wasn't, Doctor Who to me, especially with the Timeless Child element added in. So I really hope that if I do play Edge of Time, which granted I haven't played, so I can't speak much to it, but I really hope that it doesn't lend too heavily to the 13th Doctor as a character, but has more of the Doctor Who elements. I do know that the Daleks are in it, the Weeping Angels are in it, I know that they're all involved, so I'm hoping that it's just kind of a really cool experience, being able to play against, or fight against the Weeping Angels and the Daleks in a Doctor Who experience. Yeah, that's just what I gotta say about it. But what I want more than anything else, because there's a third game, I'm pretty certain they said there's going to be 3 games, and I think the third game's kind of a mystery. I think that's going to be a new one, because there's supposed to be a whole trilogy kind of the games. The mobile game, the Edge of Time VR game, and then the third game. And I think, because of an image that they shared on Twitter, which I'm going to put up right here, the third game is going to have to do with the Time Lord Victorious. So for those of you who don't know, Time Lord Victorious is something brought up in the David Tennant era. I actually have my Blu-ray copy of the David Tennant collection right here. David Tennant is my favorite Doctor. He is absolutely brilliant. I love him. He's great. And if they did a Time Lord Victorious arc in a video game, which they did say the Time Lord Victorious would have some sort of game representation, I seriously hope that they do it. And I seriously hope the Time Lord Victorious arc isn't just a mobile game. I hope it is a console game. I hope it comes out on the Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, everything. Because the Time Lord Victorious is something that I'm really interested in, because not only is it bringing Paul McGann back to play as the 8th Doctor, but Big Finish has actually also recruited Christopher Eccleston to play and reprise his role as the 9th Doctor, which Christopher Eccleston has not reprised his role as the 9th Doctor ever since he originally played the role back in 2005. So it would be really interesting to see him return to the role in the Big Finish thing, and I really hope it's implemented into the video game. I personally think it's going to revolve around a lot around David Tennant, because let's be real here, David Tennant is the most marketable Doctor. I seriously think he is. The 13th Doctor has a lot of controversy around her, just simply because her season's kind of torn the fan base. So I don't think, having another 13th adventure on top of the 13th adventures already probably coming to consoles, I don't think that's a smart idea. So then you also look back at Capaldi. He's also kind of a torn fan base doctor. I personally loved Capaldi. I love the Capaldi era of Who. I don't know where most of the fan base sits with Capaldi, but I think he had some great episodes. Sure, he had some duds, and Clara became one of my least favorite companions by the end of it, but overall, I loved Capaldi. He was a great doctor. He gave great performances, great speeches, great everything. But I don't think it's going to be Capaldi. I don't think Capaldi would be involved. And granted, if it is Time Lord Victorious, he wouldn't be in it anyways. Matt Smith is another pretty marketable one. I actually was not a huge fan of Matt Smith's era. I liked Season 5 or Series 5 a lot, but Series 6 and 7 really started to disconnect me from the show. So Matt Smith, I personally wouldn't. I'd be indifferent to having Matt Smith in. It'd be great to see him come back. But I think he could probably fit in with a Time Lord Victorious theme because of his role in The Day of the Doctor. But we'll see. I'm not quite sure. So obviously the 10th Doctor is a pretty obvious choice because of A, how marketable he is, and B, how much he is entwined in the Time Lord Victorious arc, and not to mention he's kind of in the promotional art. So it really does make you think that the 10th Doctor will be a part of the Time Lord Victorious. What I'm kind of wondering, though, is will the 10th Doctor actually be voiced by David Tennant? Will David Tennant return to voice the 10th Doctor in this video game? And my answer to that is I don't know, but if I were to lean towards one side, lean towards one side, I would say most likely. David Tennant is very open about how much he does love playing the role of the Doctor, and how much being part of these audio things and not actually being part of the show to him is a lot better than being a part of the show, because being a part of the show actually really takes up a lot of his time. But if he's just doing audio voice lines for Big Finish or for probably a video game, it's so much easier for him. I think Billy Piper has said this as well, which I'll get into Billy Piper in a moment, but David Tennant, I think if this is really about a Time Lord Victorious arc, he would most likely come back, and to me, that's just awesome. It would get me to buy the game day one, especially if it comes out on the Switch. Another question is, will people like Paul McGann or Christopher Eccleston come back? Because obviously they are a whole part of the Time Lord Victorious thing too, because this is all about the Time War, which is really prevalent through obviously the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th Doctors, and obviously the War Doctor, but since John Hurt has passed away, it's obviously unlikely that he would return. Maybe they'd get someone to reprise his voice, but I think John Hurt should be kind of left as is, as a Day of the Doctor special character. There have been Big Finish things done by him, or at least some audio dramas with him, or stories about, the War Doctor. But I think he could be left because his story was decently wrapped up in the Day of the Doctor. So I don't really think we need to have the War Doctor. But the 9th and 8th Doctors, being Paul McGann and Christopher Eccleston, if they came back, that would be epic. I think that would be absolutely great if they can get those guys to return for the Time Lord Victorious video game, if there was one. It would just be amazing. I don't think it's likely. Maybe more so Paul McGann than Christopher Eccleston, but I don't know. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say with those two, but it's possible, but I don't really think it's likely for those two to return. Next up, will Billy Piper return as either the Moment or Rose Tyler or what have you? Honestly, I don't know. Because Rose Tyler is in the promotional art for Time Lord Victorious, which I think kind of confuses me a little bit, because the only role that Billy Piper played in any of the Time War was the Moment. And even then, after the War Doctor regenerated to the 9th Doctor, it's completely forgotten about, and she's only really seen by the War Doctor. Because obviously, in the 50th anniversary special, being the Day of the Doctor, she wasn't seen by either David Tennant or Matt Smith's Doctor, and obviously she isn't recognized by John Hurt, so that also means that the 8th Doctor didn't see the Moment. So it makes me wonder where Billy Piper would fit into this, or I should say Rose Tyler or the Moment, where they would fit into this. But if Billy Piper did come back, I would be so happy. She isn't my favorite companion. I love the chemistry between her and Ten. They had a great chemistry, and I love Rose Tyler. Season 2 was a little bit hit or miss with the episodes, but still a great season. I mean, episodes like The Girl in the Fireplace are just absolutely stellar, and School Reunion, just great top-tier episodes. and she's one of the most emotionally attached companions that most people have, just mostly because of her ending in Doomsday. So I think Billie Piper returning would actually work in the game's favor and would make it much more marketable. Think about it, a game with David Tennant and Billie Piper reprising their roles, not just audio where you only hear them, now this in a visual media where you could see the two. That'd be awesome, but I don't know how the Time Lord Victorious, because obviously the Time Lord Victorious was very late Tennant era, because obviously the Day of the Doctor happened not too long before David Tennant's regeneration. It happened, I believe, between the Waters of Mars and the End of Time. So I'm not quite sure how Billie Piper would fit into it, even as Rose Tyler, if she wasn't the woman, if she was Rose Tyler, because obviously it would probably be post traveling with the Doctor, post Doomsday, but it wouldn't make sense because she's trapped in a parallel world. So the only thing I can think of is if there was somehow an adventure between during Journey's End, when all the companions get dropped off except for Donna and Rose, but that would also mean that it would be just Jackie actually, that Jackie would be there, and the Metacrisis Doctor. It would be very complicated, and again, that is pre-Time Lord Victorious Doctor. That is pre, the Waters of Mars Doctor. So I really don't know how Billie Piper could fit into it. I really don't know. And I did mention Catherine Tate, Donna Noble. Catherine Tate is an absolutely amazing actress. I'm actually going to get to speak to her next week because I'm doing an interview thing with her. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to post a whole video on the channel about it. But Catherine Tate coming back would be mind-blowing. People love Donna Noble. I think Donna Noble might be the most popular Doctor Who companion. I don't know the validity of that, but she's definitely my favorite companion. Donna Noble has the personality, the charm, the wit, everything that makes a Doctor Who companion. It completely removes the romantic element that characters like Rose Tyler and Martha Jones and even Amy Pond really introduced to the series, and Donna Noble was just a friend, a companion, a real companion to the Doctor. And it could be amazing. And as for what monster I'd love to see, obviously if it's Time Lord Victorious stuff, Daleks would definitely be a part of it. There would definitely be Daleks. I'm really hoping maybe Time Lords are there. Maybe we can get some other little nods. Maybe like we'll have Judoon come in, like the Shadow Proclamation, the police, so maybe they'd get involved somehow. Cybermen, I don't know, maybe Centaurans that want the war, because you see in the Centauran stratagem and the Poison Sky that the Centaurans are envious that the Doctor was in this big war. Maybe they can play a part of it where they want to get into the war, but the Doctor has to stop them from getting involved. I don't know, the possibilities are endless, but what do you guys think? Doctor Who is absolutely my favorite show in the world, hence why I have a whole Blu-ray collection of it. I love it. If you guys never watched Doctor Who, I highly recommend it. You might have to start with Christopher Eccleston, though, because he's the first new Who-era Doctor, and then that leads into David Tennant, because that makes more sense with Billie Piper's role in this series, or in these seasons, I should say, in these series. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Overall, guys, I'm super excited to see what they reveal this weekend. I'll definitely have reactions up. I'll definitely have all that. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.